Hello, welcome to Simple IELTS. Today we will talk about IELTS Writing Test 1, especially map report. In this lesson, you will learn the structure of a map report, how to make a plan before writing, and how to write a map report. But first, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share to others, okay? Now, what is a map report in IELTS Writing Test 1? Essentially, this is where we have to make a summary and compare relevant information based on the map given to us through the whole period. So here, as we can see, we are faced with a map, well, three maps actually, but they are located in the same place, and it started in 1960, 1980, and 2000. So there are several establishments there, and they are something that we have to explain. So, and there are several things that we have to know about this. First is there's a question statement or the introduction. This is something that this is a sentence that help us understand better what the diagrams are about. For example, the diagrams below show the changes that have taken place at Queen Mary Hospital since its construction in 1960. And then there are several instructions that we have to follow. First is that we only have 20 minutes to do this task, and then we have to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Okay, so that's why I said that we have to make a summary and compare relevant information based on the map given to us through the whole period. And then we should write at least 150 words. Okay, so 150 is the minimum number of words that we have to write down. Okay, so that's a little bit about a map report writing in IELTS Writing Test 1. So now we talk about the structure of a map report. Normally, the structure consists of three parts. First is the introduction, where we write in paragraph 1. This is where we introduce the chart by paraphrasing the written information. Here, this is the written information that we have to rewrite in our own words. And then there's a overview or summary part which we write in paragraph 2. This is where we describe the general changes through the whole period from 1960 to 2000. And then we talk about detailed explanation and comparison about the changes between 1960, 1980, and 2000. We can do that in paragraph 3 and paragraph 4. Okay, for example, in paragraph 3, we can explain and compare information in 1960 and 1980. Whereas in paragraph 4, we can talk about the changes that happened in 2000. Okay, so next, I would like to explain how to make a plan before writing to help you write smoothly during the 20 minutes, because we have to allocate or use our time as efficient as possible. Okay, now let's talk about the introduction first. As I said before, this is where we introduce the chart by paraphrasing the written information. We can do this by changing the words with synonyms or the words that have the same meaning with the original words, and or changing the sentence structure. How do we do that? Well, this is an example of introduction writing. We can write that the pictures illustrate how the area around Queen Mary Hospital has changed since it was established in 1960. So in the question statement, it says the diagrams below show, and then we write the pictures illustrate. They have the same meaning. Diagrams have the same meaning with pictures, and show has the same meaning with illustrate, or we can say also demonstrate or explain. And then the changes that have taken place at Queen Mary Hospital has the same meaning with how the area around Queen Mary Hospital has changed since it was established in 1960. Well, they have the same meaning. And then since its construction in 1960 has the same meaning with since it was established in 1960. Okay, construction has the same meaning with established. And then this is an example of how we use sentence structure or how we change the sentence structure. In the question statement, it is used it used it uses a noun, whereas I wrote it with a passive sentence. It was established. Okay, this is how we change the sentence structure as an example from noun to a passive sentence, or it can also be an active sentence in some other context. Okay, so that's about introduction. And then about summary, this is where we describe the general changes through the whole period. For example, so what changed through the whole period? They are the things that change are shopping center, farmland, and car park. As we can see in 1960, first there is shopping center, and then it changed into cancer center and pharmacy. Farmland, also the same. It changed into nursing school. Car park, it didn't change between 1960 and 1980, but it changed in terms of size. It reduced about half in 2000. But what remained the same through the whole period? The answer is hospital. Okay, so this is an example. Overall, from 1960 to 2000, there are several changes to the building sizes and locations. The only building that did not experience an alteration was the hospital itself. Okay, so overall or in general, through the whole period, that is 1960 to 2000, there are several changes in terms of changes to the buildings and the sizes of the buildings and the locations. For example, about the locations, we can say that nursing school in 1980 it was located in the left, and then 20 years later it was located a little bit to the right, and it is reduced in size, by the way. Okay, alteration here has the same meaning with change. Okay, so that is an explanation about how to write the summary and how to make a plan for the summary part. Okay, now we talk about paragraph 3, where we explain in detail about the information and we compare the information. So in this part, we can compare the differences in 1960 and 1980. So what changed between 1960 and 1980? First, it was shopping center. In 1960, there was a shopping center, and then in 1980, it changed or it transformed into cancer center and pharmacy. And then farmland. In 1960, there was a farmland, and 20 years later, it became a nursing school. So how do we write this? We can write it like this, for example. In 1960, there were a car park and 2 establishments situated or located near the hospital. That included shopping center and farmland. 20 years later, well, this is an example of how we use synonym. We can say in 1980, but to show that we are rich in vocabulary, we can write 20 years later. Okay, 20 years from 1960, which is 1980. Okay, 20 years later, the shopping center transformed or changed into cancer center and pharmacy, which was located next to the hospital. And then farmland was also abolished, or was also it experienced a change. It was destroyed, we can say it like that, and the land of which was allocated for setting up a nursing school. Okay, and then in paragraph 4, we can talk about the differences in 2000. So what changed in that year? Cancer center, it expanded, it became larger in size, it formed an L structure shaped. At first it was just a square, and then it became larger with an L-shaped structure. And then nursing school, it reduced in size and moved a little bit to the right. and car park also reduced about half in size because the space was used for nursing school. Okay, this is an example of how we write the fourth paragraph. 2 decades later, by 2 decades later, it means 20 years later, after 1980, or which is 2000, while pharmacy and hospitals stood uninterruptedly, there was a massive expansion of the cancer center that tripled in size, constituting an L-shaped structure. The nursing school and the car park reduced in size as an implication of that enlargement, where the former shifted to the right and took up about half of the latter's area. Okay, so as I said before, the cancer center became larger, about tripled the previous size, and it constituted an L-shaped structure. As for nursing school and car park, they became smaller in size because of the expansion or because of the enlargement, where the nursing school shifted to the right or moved a little bit to the right, and it took up about half of the car park's area. Okay, so this is the full example of a map report that we already discussed. This is the introduction. This is the summary part, and these two paragraphs are the detailed explanation and comparison between the changes in 1960, 1980, and 2000. And the word count is 153 words. So it has passed the minimum number of words, which is 150 words. Okay, so that is my explanation for map report in IELTS Writing Task 1. Thank you for watching it until the end. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you in my other videos.